Show you today the ABARH. Let's see, a little bit of details, a little bit of overview. You enter this luscious environment. And then you get the joy. So you have this key. My wife is coming on with the car. You hear that BMW now, and I will start mine. And then you get extra record Monza exhaust. Dag schat. So comparing my cars, I have this car but also the Suzuki Swift Sport Hybrid. I think Suzuki Swift Sport Hybrid is better as a daily. It's more practical, you have 5 doors and also more roomy. A little bit better on fuel, about 1 liter per 100 kilometers in essence. And this one is more for the pleasure ride. So for example, if you want to close or open a roof, you can just push some buttons and you get access to a different world. And also the leather experience is awesome in my opinion. The steering wheel is very thick, so it also gives you a big car feel, although it's a very small car. That's something that did very right. And it's a little bit more relaxing because you have, in this type of car, interaction with the elements, of course, which you can also close again if you want to. You can just decide how much air you want, but also a convertible is there for more pleasure rides. So instead of the purposeful nature of the Suzuki Swift Sport, you get an experience nature in the ABARH, which I like a lot. I also think that the interior looks delicious. I shifted now from the shifter on the steering column, which I also like a lot. Sound is also very nice. I'm not saying that the sound of the Swift is not nice, because that's not the case. But yeah, okay, come on. There is a difference between the two. And that's something I really appreciate. So you can have 2 cars, both small, both 1.4 turbos, and have completely supplementary experiences. So the Swift is very effective, it's very practical, and this little car is as much pleasure as you can have in such a small package, in my opinion, especially if you want to be able to share it also with your family, because this little tiny car, A-segment car, which feels very sturdy and bulky and strong and masculine, but also has a very cute streak, seats 4 people, huh? So that's terrific, and it seats it better than the 911 does, because in the back you have more headroom. Even with the roof closed, you can sit there as an adult, especially if you're not too big, and you have all the pleasure that you can have in such a small car. Also because the engine is up front, you still have a trunk. The trunk is not that big, but it's not that small either. You still have quite a lot of functionality there, which I like a lot. if you take into consideration the cost and the pleasure experience ratio, I think ABARH has it nailed down to a T, especially when you get the C version. So this 595C. The C stands for convertible Turismo, but you can also get it with a closed roof. And my experience, a closed roof of course will make it a little bit more serious because it can be even a little bit more stiff, but still, because these parts remain, the stiffness is not that much compromised at all. And also the functionality is not that much compromised at all. I push this sport button and now we go into a tunnel. So you also have a very nice sport button which also tunes up everything even a little bit more. Also put it off again. But you can have the pleasure of a normal experience and therefore also cut down on the fuel consumption of course, but you can also just press one button and you have additional access. And even without the sport function activated, this is a terrifically sounding and nice experience car. What would I want to say? Also because you have the experience of luxury parts. This one comes with leather. I would always recommend that because you get an additional experience because you're sitting on luscious leather. Also the colors, this is a red one, I really liked it because it gives you a little bit more contrast. And as you saw also from the outside, it has the B-tone, so the black on top of the white, so half the bottom is white and then it becomes black. But also there was a red stripe in between and that's very nicely, how do you say that? Supplemented. I think that we have to go here. Yep. Supplemented by the red details that are in here as well. So yeah, really appreciate it. And also, just touch of a button, you can even do it while driving, and you make your car into a convertible again. Funny thing is now I'm going to sit it next to a Swift. It's a little bit tight to the Swift, leaving a little bit more room also for the others. And I will show you also, this is an earlier generation Swift, but then you can have a view. Still has that camera system also there. Now I will close the roof, of course, for safety. I'll put it in neutral because otherwise it will keep giving those beeps that I'm close to the wall. So that's it. Shutting her off. So as I mentioned, you have the white features, but also the red accents everywhere, which I like. Here also that red stripe, as I mentioned. So you just click on it and it's secured. Also here you see the back. There's a nice slope there, and next to the Swift of the earlier generation I have. So in my opinion, it's just an awesome car. Very awesome. Hope you like this small video and experience. Have a great day. Found my car out. Good morning everyone. In this video we will revisit the Suzuki Swift Sport Hybrid that I have. ZC33S. Once I've driven quite a lot with the ABARH 595C as well. So remember, both are small hot hatches, 1.4 turbos, also similar weight. Swift is actually a little bit lighter, although being a segment higher type of class. So the Swift is a B segment, and the ABARH is an A segment. So that's one of the things that you get out of this comparison. If you came from a Tesla Model S, the Swift might feel a little bit cramped, a little bit small. But once you've driven a few times in the ABARH, the Swift feels enormously roomy. That's a funny thing to consider, that you can readjust yourself, that torque, every time to the new situation and recalibrate as well. So you now have a new normal. And that's a good thing as well, because a lot of people always want to go bigger, heavier, stronger, etc. But you don't need that. If you consider the power, you feel a lot more in control with Swift. Also the suspension's a lot more mature in my opinion. But both have their charm. And why is that? The ABARH feels a little bit more of a brutish type of car as compared to the Swift. And that is because the automatic, the manual transmission, that is automatic. The motor, it has an MTA gearbox. It's an automatic, but you also have a manual transmission into it. But it feels a little bit, it doesn't feel subtle. So the shifts, the time between shifts is quite long, and you also feel a push in the back. I really love the flippers on the steering from the ABARH, but the thing is, the Swift has a very nice gearbox, 6-speed. ABARH only 5-speed. And it feels like the turbo has a little bit more time before it comes onto boost. So it feels a little bit more brutish. Whereas the Swift, you feel all the time that it has good torque. And you don't feel those turbo gaps. That's because this turbo is different and more mature, of course, but also this has an electric system to assist it, which is also a big benefit to filter out any dips. So in its essence, the Swift Sport Hybrid feels a lot more serious as compared to the ABARH, and the ABARH feels a lot more an experience. It's not only that you can open the roof, that you have the convertible feeling, but also because the suspension is even stiffer than that of the Swift, which already has a sport suspension by Bilstein, which is now further lowered and stiffened thereby. But also, it's a shorter wheelbase, and you feel very meaty. This is a meaty steering wheel, but that of the ABARH is like this. So there's quite a difference. You feel like you're driving, in my opinion, a little bit of mini Maserati. The sound is harder because of the record Monza, but I do like this AKS a lot, the Suzuki Swiss Sport. But also all the leather is there, and you have just a very meaty driving experience. Whereas the Swift feels a lot more, in my opinion, planted and more capable. So I'm not saying that it feels more agile, because there is a difference as well, because the ABARH is he's sitting a lot higher, so you have a good overview despite being a little bit cramped. But also the car is a lot less wide. Because it is a lot less wide, you can easily maneuver. But the benefit of the Swift is that you have a rear view camera as well. So they both have their own merits, also being agile. The benefit of this, of course, that you don't have to put the seats forward if you need rear seat passengers to enter or to leave. So a lot more practical car, also a lot more storage capacity. Luxury, also you have heated seats, for example, so in the winter this will be a lot better. But on the other hand, you can enjoy the weather, enjoy the sunshine in ABARH. That's almost poetic. You will have a lot more smiles per mile in ABARH. And even though the ABARH is a bit more thirsty, I think 1 liter per 100 kilometer at least more thirsty. You will have more smiles per liter of gasoline or amount of money that you would have to put in to keep it moving forward, because of all those things that I mentioned. But you will not have that much smiles if you have to move something, because it's just that much more limited and cramped. Swift is such a beautiful contender there. But even though that might be the case, I moved quite a lot of luggage as well in the ABARH. But it's just a different class altogether. Hope you like this short video. Found my car, out.